Making the headlines this morning, Anambra State government to begin payment of minimum wage next month. Stakeholders laud Governor Soludo's intervention on the health sector. Federal government increases NYSC members' allowance. Southeastern U.S. braces for catastrophe as Hurricane Helen lasts. Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround, maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good morning and welcome to the news. My name is Chidimma Oranwa. Anambra State government will commence payment of the 70,000 naira minimum wage next month. Governor Chukwuma Soludo made the announcement at Professor Dora Akunyili Women's Development Center, Oka, while meeting with all principals and head teachers in public, primary and secondary schools. Correspondent Ejike Abana now reports.
Governor Soludo, who also announced that from next week, the free education policy will be available to senior students in all public schools in Anambra, assured that even with the binding resource constraints, his administration will continue to work very hard to deliver on the mandate. Recall that since 2023, the state government under Governor Soludo have been implementing the free education policy for pupils and students in all public schools from basic to junior secondary school classes. The governor further directed that students in senior classes who have already paid their 5,000 naira fees for this term should be refunded, while enumerating some of his administration's strides in human capital development, promising to do more.
Human capital is Anambra's greatest asset. It's our own better than oil asset. And our mission and vision going to be to create human capital that is productive at home and exportable abroad. To create a new prosperity by investing in the people themselves, becoming the embodiment, the asset that will propel them and sustain them in the 21st century. Today, we want to be able to say to our people that once you are in Anambra, in all government schools, in all public schools, we should be able to guarantee every child from nursery through primary, through JSS 1 to 3, and from today going forward, from even also SS1, SS2, SS4. Nursery, through primary, through completion of secondary school, in all the public institutions in Anambra.
Those who attended the event include Secretary of State Government Professor Soluch Fulobel, Chief of Staff to the Governor Mr. Ernest Ezajui, Commissioner for Education Professor Ngozi Chumude, Commissioner for Local Government Mr. Tony Collins Mwabunwanne, their Budget and Economic Planning counterpart Mrs. Chiamaka Mnake, National President of Anambra State Association of Town Union, Barrister Titus Abudo, Chairman of Anambra State Universal Basic Education Board, ASUBEP, Dr. Vera Nwadinobi, and her Post-Primary School Service Commission PPSSC counterpart, Professor Nkechi Ikedu. Those who attended the meeting, including the principal of Pioneer Secondary School, Umuchu, Lady Clara Onwukanjo, said that the policy has created a lot of impact for both parents and students asking for its sustenance.
Anambra State government has expressed satisfaction with pace of work done so far on the Trauma Center, a project awarded by Governor Chukwuma Soludo. The Commissioner for Housing, Honorable Polly Onyeka, made the observation during the official handover and inspection of the project sited inside Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Teaching Hospital, Amakoka. Correspondent Ngozi Obilelui reports that the Commissioner Onyeka was accompanied on the visit by senior officials of the Ministry of Housing. Her report.
Around the project, which is at decking level, Honorable Onyeka said he is happy that work has reached that stage even before the official handover, adding that the contractor is working in line with the vision of Governor Soludo in health sector, where he said that 3 general hospitals have been revamped and 5 new ones built by the present administration. Honorable Onyeka noted that the trauma center is very important to Governor Soludo and Anambra and would serve as a relief center when completed, since it will have state-of-the-art facilities which have not been seen in any part of Nigeria, and bring to an end the act of seeking for medical services outside the country by Anambra.
Is going to serve our people in a very special way. That they've been running to US, Canada, the America and the Americas, they will no longer be rushing to those places. They always come here to have their cure. That is the essence of this.
On his part, the Chief Medical Director, Chukwuemeka Odumegojukwu University Teaching Hospital, Dr. Josephat Akabike, represented by the Acting Chairman, Medical Advisory Committee, CMAC, Mr. Nnemeka Umedum, expressed gratitude to Governor Soludo for choosing to give Anambra the best in health care delivery.
Trauma centers are graded. This one we have here is going to be a grade 2 trauma center, which is by no means a small project and focused target, which we believe we can hit.
The managing director of 3 Second Construction Company, the firm handling the project, Engineer Chukwuma Oka, said he moved to the site immediately the contract was awarded without waiting for the official handover because of the importance Governor Soludo placed on this project and promised to complete the job before the year ends.
We know how important this project is, so we want to do our best. It's a service to humanity, so we want to thank everybody, and by God's grace, in a few months of time, we will come again to hand over.
In Oka, I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
The Anglican Bishop of Agota Diocese, Right Reverend Samuel Ezofo, says faith is very important for spiritual growth and development. In his sermon at St. James Parish, Nanka, in Orumba North Local Government Area, during a service of confirmation and ambition into Girls Guild and Mothers Union for all the parishes under Nanka Archdeaconry, Bishop Ezofo stressed the need for generational transfer of God for more expansion of God's kingdom. Correspondent Abuchi Nwozo filed in this report.
Hold on the faithful to always approach God with faith to reap more of blessings and mercy, warning them against acts capable of contradicting their faith and belief in God. Right Reverend Ezofo, who is also the national chairman of the Evangelical Fellowship in the Anglican Communion, EFAC Nigeria, charged Christians to always practice what is contained in the Holy Scripture in order to inherit the kingdom of God. He stressed the need for Christians to know God in his true nature and cautioned the faithful against amalgamating their faith with idolatry. In a remark, the Archdeacon of Nanka Archdeaconry and Vicar of St. James Parish, Nanka, Venerable Ifeanyi Mbwemena, who described the visit of Bishop Ezofo to the Archdeaconry as a great morale booster to the parishioners, charged those that received the sacrament of confirmation and those admitted into Girls Guild and Mothers Union to always maintain their pride as the salt and light of the earth, reminding them to make prayer their watchword in order to defeat the evil and its cohorts. 42 candidates received the sacrament of confirmation and 25 candidates admitted into Girls Guild, as well as 26 women into the Mothers Union during the service, which also featured a special anthem by the choir and series of prayers for those in leadership positions, the church, Anambra State, and the Nigerian nation. The president of Agwata Diocesan Women's Ministry, Mrs. Chinyere Ezofo, diocesan officials, uniformed organizations, among others, attended the service.
Abel Arinze Close in Oka have lamented the continuous flooding of the area whenever it rains, attributing it to the poorly constructed channeling of a drainage system in an ongoing construction project. Correspondent Chibuzo Obidike reports.
When ABS News crew got to the close, residents of the streets were seen in their numbers trying to salvage what is remaining of their damaged properties after last night's heavy downpour. Speaking with the ABS, Mrs. Ebelechukwu Onyama, who was forced out of the house with her 3 weeks grandchild, called on the state government to save them from the consequences of the poor channeling of the drainage system.
Mili ka anyị gululu wee pụta n'ebe anyị nọ kịta onye romọnụ ife anyị ji wee pụtara ife a bụ ka mmala ebe ọzọ m ga-eduba tinye isi maka ọmụgwọ ka m bịa ana m ayọ Soludo no solution ka ọ bụ nya bịaba ka ọ bịanyela anyị aka na ife emebinarịkwa anyị n'ogbe
a couple who also reside in the streets, Mr. and Mrs. Ebel Arinze, told ABS that they had written to the Ministry of Works on the matter and received their assurances that the drainage between their streets and the Solution Fund City will be properly channeled to put an end to the flooding.
Nabani, Camille no Azobel, Milan will to my fence. I took what I made this small gate, I should know wherefore the gate, you go that million, but the gate, and you want to keep for no ladder. All this ladder can be doing a new fence. I went with the way with Bazaromaka, where you get it.
As a fish pond animal, Mangua and Jebu, and all credit can nebule and Chanino Wesing came from Milibuko, Hanchanine Bubani Stadium. Because no Waka and Yelani, Signolani.
Another resident, Mr. Henry Akuna, called on the state government to quickly prevail on the contractor to intervene and save the streets from further damage.
The federal government has approved a 133% increase in the monthly allowance of National Youth Service Corps NYSC members from 33,000 naira to 77,000 naira effective from July 2024. This development follows the enactment of the National Minimum Wage Amendment Act 2024 aimed at enhancing the welfare of Corps members. The approval was communicated through a letter from the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission dated September 25, 2024 and signed by Chairman Ibu Nta. According to Caroline Embu, Acting Director of Information and Public Relations NYSC, the Director General Brigadier General Y.D. Ahmed had advocated for a robust welfare package for Corps members during a visit to the Commission. In a statement released yesterday, Mrs. Embu confirmed the approval, stating that the NYSC boss is thankful to the federal government for the timely gesture. She stated that the enhanced allowance aims to boost the morale of NYSC members and motivate them to contribute more effectively to national development. And on the foreign scene, people in Florida prepared sandbags to protect their properties from flooding. Hurricane Helen continues to strengthen as it barrels towards the U.S. Gulf Coast. The Category 1 storm is on track to intensify quickly into a dangerous Category 4 hurricane by the time it makes landfall in Florida evening local time, with official forecasts and warnings describing it likely in parts as catastrophic, life-threatening and unsurvivable. The governors of Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina and Virginia have declared states of emergency ahead of the storm's landfall. Mexico's peninsula and the tourist resort of Cancun and Cozumel were spared major damage when the hurricane skidded its northeastern coast but failed to make landfall. Torrential rains caused flooding in parts of the Mexican state of Quintana Roo. Videos uploaded by tourists and locals in Cancun showed buses attempting to drive through flooded streets in the area where many of the city's hotels are located. However, the state's governor said there had been no casualties, and officials reported that power was being restored to areas where it had been cut. Streets in the beach resort of Cancun were flooded after torrential rain caused by Helen. Over now to sports. The Nigeria Football Federation has felicitated with the Super Eagles and Nantes forward Moses Simon for making his 150th appearance in League One. The 29-year-old, who is one of Nigeria's longest-serving League One players, is being recognized after reaching a career milestone in French top flight this past weekend. In their 1-1 draw with Angers, Simon picked up his 150th cap in League One, setting up his side's only goal scored by Joan Lepenant. That assist was his 29th for the club, making Simon the top contributor for Les Canaries in that department, breaking the record previously held by Emiliano Salah. Simon has spent his entire League One career with La Mason John, originally coming on loan from Spanish side Levante in 2019 before moving permanently to the Atlantic coast. In his League One career, he netted 27 goals and 29 assists at Nantes, who are currently fifth in the table after 5 match days. Simon has made the 5th most appearance in League One among Nigerian players behind Victor Ibeba, 170, Tayo Taiwo, 171, Wilson Eruma, 196, and John Otaka, 239. At the moment, Simon is Nantes' leading goal scorer domestically this season with 2 goals and 2 assists, and was named their player of the month for August. He remains under contract with Nantes until 2026. It was a moment of sober reflection as remains of the late Mrs. Felicia Dorothy Njideka Udedike was committed to Mother Earth for eternal rest. Mrs. Udedike was the mother of Mrs. Franca Olonuju of Programs Department, Anambra Broadcasting Service, ABS, Onitsha. Mrs. Udedike was aged 71. Correspondent Ifunanya Nwankwo now reports.
The venue of the funeral was filled with family members, in-laws, friends, and well-wishers who came from far and near to pay their last respect to the deceased. ABS family were also on ground to commiserate with one of their own, Mrs. Ononuju. In his sermon during the funeral mass at Sacred Heart Parish, Ozobolo, Reverend Father Kingsley Esiaka admonished Christians to refrain from sin and attitudes that will prevent them from partaking in the feast God prepared for all in heaven. Father Esiaka pointed out that only righteousness can take one to the venue of the feast with Jesus Christ, which is in heaven, and charged them to be persistent in living a righteous life. Speaking in an interview, the son of the deceased, Mr. Obinna Udedike, described his late mother as a peaceful and loving mother. Her daughters, Mrs. Ononuju and Mrs. Nkechi Moto, thanked God for making their dream of successful ceremony a reality and described their late mother as a generous, peace-loving, kind-hearted, and a charitable giver, promising to preserve the good legacies she left behind.
My mother, through her character, her behavior, her everything, she has taught us to be united as one love. She advised that one love should keep us together. And I'm promising her today that legacy of love, that I'm going to continue with that legacy of love.
Her daughter-in-law, Mrs. Onyinye Udedike, grandchildren, Mr. Chukunonso Ononuju, Mrs. Nnenna Amechina, and Mrs. Chinwendu Ejefe, described the deceased as hard-working woman who taught them hospitality. In-laws to the deceased, Mrs. Grace Morto and Mr. Anthony Namdi Morto, described their mother-in-law as an accommodating person who cherished the well-being of others and charged the children to maintain peace and told the good legacies their late mother left for them while their friend, Mrs. Calista Onyeka, who is also the Emeritus CWO President of St. Dominic Parish, Fege, Onitsha, charged the family to take solace in God and be bounded in love. Interment, condolence visit by in-laws, friends, and well-wishers, dance by different groups featured during the event. From Ozobolo, Ifunanya Nwankwo reporting for ABS.
And that's just about it on the news this morning. But before we go, a quick reminder that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any parts of the world by liking our Facebook page. Follow us at Anambra Broadcasting Service. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at ABS Television Oka. Follow us on X at ABS Radio TV. And on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. A quick recap of our major stories. Anambra State Government to begin payment of minimum wage next month. Stakeholders have lauded Governor Soludo's intervention on health sector. Federal government has increased the NYSC members' allowance. Southeastern U.S. braces for catastrophe as Hurricane Helen lasts. Remember that Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround, maintenance of the Anambra State economy, and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's it on the news this morning. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Chidima Oranwa. Good morning.